So let's have a little refresher from last week. One of the big techniques that we did was in order to get motivated. And if anyone will reach out to me after this on Facebook or tag me in the group, I'll send you privately the motivation technique in audio form that we used that you can learn. It's very, very powerful, called the Ring of Power. So several of you said you had some breakthroughs, you reached some milestones. Can anyone volunteer any information? Did you use that this week?
Does help us save.
Okay, let's do it, he said. After being rejected 27.
I'll jump in there. Yeah, there were a couple of things that I felt like I was kind of getting stonewalled at and all that kind of stuff, and I just kind of went over the stuff that you taught last time, and I mean, it helps. It definitely helps. It's helped me for sure.
Okay, good. Any tangible benefits that you've seen?
Yeah, actually. I mean, well, I don't know if you would consider them tangible, but I've gotten some better workers out of it. Some of the stresses of kind of what I do is finding reliable people and things like that, and then you're pinned up against the wall and deadlines and all this kind of stuff. But using kind of the techniques that you were showing, and we had a private conference on, I was able to kind of step back a little bit and just be a little bit more calculated with what I was doing, and the whole fear thing. I mean, I've been relaxed for like since the last time we talked, and I can't remember the last time I felt like that. Just
Gotcha.
not having those fears. It was great.
Okay. Yeah, and if you can control fear, that's a huge thing in your life. And when we talked, a lot of that was working backwards privately. So and pulling fear away from anxiety. So all right. So the thing I want you to focus on, and if any of you are taking notes, kind of this week and the next 2 weeks are going to be focused on your one big goal. All right. So here's how I want you to structure this. What is the one area of your life that if you achieve a dramatic improvement there, it would make the most positive difference in your life overall? There's this one thing out there that if you achieve that, it could get all the other stuff would fall into place. I've always heard the phrase sales cures everything. In a lot of ways, that's true. If I had, it may be health related. It may be money related. It may be relationship related. It may be business related. If you could achieve that one dramatic improvement, what would shift everything else along the way? Any ideas? Anything specifically? Any feels like okay that I could that's not too personal. That could be that you've struggled with to move you forward.
With me, I guess it would be getting a deal done.
Your first single deal?
That fell through for a couple different reasons, but none actually. I never went to the closing table yet.
Ah, gotcha. So you've been working at this, and this is a perfect example, Davis. Thank you for stepping up and have the courage to jump in and be candid. So for you, getting that one thing so you could check that box, you could get past that milestone, that would make a huge difference in you.
Yes.
All right. Just so you could put that behind you, right?
Exactly.
All right. I get that completely. I mean, I do a sales course, kind of a 4-day crash course in the morning every other week. And I've always recruited via just personal contacts, and but this time I did it through a sales funnel, and I had 2 enrollees into my course, which is kind of low for the turnout. But once I got past that, it was such a huge burden because there were so many little moving parts and pieces that made it easy. So actually, when you have a situation like this, Davis, getting to the point where you can imagine this in reality can be really, really tough. Getting that so that you don't have to think about it anymore. So it takes a change in your thought process, right? Once you've achieved that and you can start working backwards, I've stepped up on that plateau and I can see a little bit over the trees now. So what I want to do is generally we end with a technique, and we may do an extra one here a little bit later, but I want to start with one. Because in your mindset, visualizing the actuality of completing a task, reaching that goal, the one thing that, man, if I could just check that box, I could make that could happen. It could be so critical for me. Does that sound like what's happening for you?
Yes.
Now, does everybody else, not everybody on video, and that's fine, but can everybody else, just stick your hand up if you have that goal, even if there's an intermittent step that you've just struggled with and you're really trying to make it to that next level. You can't even hardly imagine getting that one thing. Is that where we're at? Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna do here is a little exercise. And again, I want, for those of you that weren't here this week, I want to talk about the differences in a couple of situations, okay? Now, when we're going through these techniques, sometimes I may have you imagine you're associated, that in the time that we're talking about, we're setting the goal, we're associated into our body, looking through our own eyes. And it may be in the past, it may be in a different situation now in the present, or it may be in the future. So if we're associated, I'm in my body, looking out through my eyes, and I'm seeing the room, the result, where I'm at, where I've made it, right? And if we're disassociated, it may be that I see myself over here in a situation, and I'm just kind of looking over here going, I wonder, and kind of as a third party observer. Makes sense? So those are 2, associated and disassociated. So when we talk about this, I want you to think in terms of association. So when you achieve that goal, Davis, I want you to think about the things that are happening. What is the thing when you reach this goal? Can you imagine the situation you're in? You're sitting at the closing table. Where are you guys? You got that in your mind's eye?
Yes.
All right. What's the room look like?
It's a office room with a table with about 4 chairs. You have the seller, myself, and the title company representatives there, and just imagining signing the papers saying that the deal is closed.
Okay. How's that feel?
Great.
What are you thinking about? All the different things, all the steps that you took to get here.
You want me to repeat them or?
No. I mean, no.
Okay.
You're thinking about all the steps that you
Okay.
took to get here. You stepped in. I sacrificed. I looked. I researched. I studied. I learned, and I did all. I went through all those disappointments. So I want you to think about that. And guys, think about what the end product is going to look like. Where are you when you achieve that goal? When you hit that thing, when it's actualized? I mean, if you were in network marketing of some sort, you might be looking at your back office, or if you're in sales of some sort and you're looking at your sales charts, and you've reached that goal, you've hit that number, whatever that is, whatever that identifier is, I want you to think about that. Okay. And so I want you to think about that desired state. Do you have a picture? Does everybody have a picture of what that's going to be like?
Yes.
Okay. And I want you to really adjust in that picture. What's everything sound like? How do you feel? And I want you to turn that up. I want you to really imagine yourself in that situation, filled with excitement and joy. That one very tough goal. You with me? Okay. Now, and I want you to step into your body at that time when, and fully associate into that moment where you achieve that. You're there. You've reached your goal. Okay. Now, step back out of the picture. Now, I want you to think about where you are now. So you've got the desired state and the current state. I want you to think about where you are now. In that picture, I want it to be kind of small and dark. There's no emotion. There's very little movement. There's very little color. There's nothing. There's no smells. There's very few sounds. Okay. All right. So you got those two before and afters. All right. Now I'm going to do, I want you to imagine that where you're at, you're on a train and you're going in a direction. All right. It's not going where you want it to go. It's actually going away from you. Because if you stay where you are, if you stay in this state, you're going to stay on this train and never go the opposite way and reach your goal. You with me?
Okay.
All right. So it's dark, it's cold, you're in a boxcar, you're just standing there, you're watching, and then you see the train of your desired state. Okay? Man, it's colorful and it's beautiful and there's music. And you see an opening in a boxcar just a little bit away. All right? So when I say swish, I want you to jump from the boxcar you're in to the boxcar you want to be. Okay, and it's coming the other direction, and it's coming and coming, and then just as you pass by, I want you to jump from the other to the other. You with me? All right,
Okay.
so let's do that. All right, I'm looking off in the distance. I know I'm going in the wrong direction. I know I'm going to stay in place, but the right direction I want to go is just off in the distance. It's coming. It's coming. Here it goes. I'm going to take my chance, and I'm going to feel that wind, and it's going to swish just by me as I spin, but I know I'm going to make it. There's no doubt. And as that train comes by, and as that opportunity comes by, and as that desired state comes by, boom, swish. I made the jump. I'm in there. Everything's cool. I'm sitting at the table. I'm about to sign that contract. It's made it. Can you see the difference?
Yes.
So you made that leap every time. So I want you to think about that when you're putting this together. Think about making that jump. Think about making that leap. Thinking about jumping on a different train, moving in a different direction, so that when you make that jump, boom, you're in that new situation, and the old situation is completely gone. It's off in the distance, and you couldn't reach it if you had to. You're in that new place. So now go back to the ring of power where we got motivated, and we felt love, and we felt control, and we felt power, and we felt energy. And bring that back so that you're in that state of excellence. You're in that state of, yes, I can, because it's almost as if you experienced it, right?
Yes.
So you're right there again. Now, what this does, if you can go through this exercise, is reprogram. You felt yourself jumping. You made the leap. You got the courage. You jumped into that next state. And the old state went away. What that does is allow you to it reprograms your unconscious mind so that you can make the difference. You can achieve that. It is right there, because if your unconscious mind understands you can achieve it, then lo and behold, you have. It just doesn't know the difference between then and now. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I mean, I know it's a little out there, guys. It's a little bit woo-woo. So, I mean, let's be real here. I mean, that's not stuff that we talk about every day, but it's just a little reprogramming of your unconscious mind. You know, when we went through the Ring of Power exercise, we were able to achieve that.
Can you jump through those Ring of Power things I missed last week real quick? Could you do that?
Yeah, I was actually going to ask as well.
Okay. Everybody all cool with that?
Sure.
All right, let me change a few pages here.